Big ups, and happy Saturday, Aces. What's going on? Big ups is slang in St. Thomas. I miss it every day, especially when it's cold outside. So I hope wherever you guys is warm and beautiful. The ladies are still in St. Thomas. They came back after their hiatus. Season 9, episode 1, Tropical Stormi. I will actually link the entire YouTube video that OWN has put out. So they put that out there for everybody. And the episode, of course, begins, I feel like, with them bickering, but they've been bickering throughout the entire episode, like from start to finish. And I'm thinking, Melody is, a lot of people were giving her a lot of static because of how she came across this episode. But I'm just thinking to myself, like, you guys are in St. Thomas, like the U.S. Virgin Islands. It is gorgeous there. That's one thing that they did say, right? Like Kimmy and the rest of the ladies, after they got done fighting and bickering about the rooms and their sizes, they were talking about how gorgeous the island is, which it is. The weather's perfect. It's usually like between the 70s and 80s all year long. And it's just, they were at, an amazing viewpoint. They were actually on the more touristy side of the island, but they had a great guide. He took them go-kart racing, and they got a chance to have some pictures and, have a beautiful dinner. And I'll get to that in a second. But I just wanted to say, I'm really glad that they were able to take the girls' trip. So big ups to St. Thomas, USVI. That's what they're making in this top left. They're actually making the VI symbol with their two fingers up, their ring finger down, their pinky up. That's what they do in St. Thomas. So big ups to VI, the big rock. I miss you every day. All right, let's go ahead and get into this episode, right? So it begins with Shanita essentially calling Tisha the ops child. Wait, so actually, it picks up where the last one left off with, they're at dinner and Destiny gets up and Melody takes that as a threat. And Destiny's saying, no, I'm getting up to leave. But Stormi tries to intervene and says, that Destiny gets really passionate because they're arguing about essentially Destiny saying that Melody said back in the day that she was teaching AC Ariane Curry, Martell's mistress, how to respectfully cheat, which in my mind, that doesn't make sense. I know that they, these ladies are old school Southern Belle types, but I feel like if she truly believed that, then she would have stayed with Martell. And Martell has tried to get back with Melody multiple times, as we know, and she's not here for it. They're still in court getting, caught up in the whole parental custody, and they're going back and forth with those court proceedings. So I feel like if she really was concerned about Ariane, quote unquote, respectfully cheating, then she would still be with her husband. You know what I mean? Plenty of women stay with their husband after they're caught. Nell Fletcher is a perfect example, right? I mean, she said that she took some time away from Chris for a while, and they were separated for a while, but eventually they reconciled and they came back together. So that didn't make sense to me, but that's what Destiny said. So anyway, moving past that, after Stormi diffuses that situation and Destiny leaves and she goes and gets some air, Shanita, the producers are producing, they're messy, but she was talking about how essentially, she kept calling Tisha the ops, and Tisha got in her face and was like, that's disrespectful. And they were in Charlotte Amalie. They were in the downtown part of St. Thomas while they were on the streets near the shops and things like that. But I understand what Tisha was saying, to be honest. And I'm glad that Shanita, walked it back, because you don't really know her enough to call her out like that. Now, does Tisha say some, crazy things out the side of her neck? Yes. Does she, give vibes from time to time? Absolutely, in my opinion. But you have to establish a relationship with somebody and, establish that baseline level of trust before you start calling folks out on their behavior. You can't just meet them on a girls' trip and day 2 of knowing their existence be like, oh, well, this person is the ops, you know. I mean, she said it at the table, which I guess some people found commendable, like her brashness, not saying it behind Tisha's back. But yeah, that rubbed a lot of people, myself included, the wrong way, because you have to give people the opportunity to show you their character, right? I didn't like that. But anyway, so the ladies move on to zip lining or not zip lining, I'm sorry. They're riding ATVs, and they have a, cutie patootie island guy. He is gorgeous. And they were basically saying, Kimmy was saying that she wanted to have her husband there and that she prefers to have, married couple trips rather than all girls trips. And Melody's like, well, we don't need the men. Mel said that, any type of disagreement that we've had as ladies, we essentially fixed it ourselves. And I mean, I guess I could see both sides of the coin, because Kimmy's saying, well, that's fine. She doesn't necessarily want the men to join us. She's like, but she's had her little island boo thing with her the entire time. And I get that, So, and their whole, libido, or their whole, bedroom activities was a big plot line in their storyline last season. So I'm hoping that we would have moved on from that. But from Kimmy saying that, I'm guessing that things have improved in that department, since she is now cancer free. So their marriage is hopefully, gaining closure, and they're becoming closer in that area. But they were having a great time, and I really enjoyed the fact that they got a chance to, see the island and just go around and have a bit of fun in the midst of all the bickering, because it just gets tedious after a while. You don't want to be on vacation, especially in a place as beautiful as St. Thomas in the Virgin Islands, and just be fighting all the time. But speaking of, Destiny and Melody, after they take their pictures and see the beautiful, all 3 of the islands, he took them to one of the top places where they could see, St. John and St. Croix, all 3 of the islands. If you go to certain places in St. Thomas, you can actually see the border of Puerto Rico. That's how close it is. It's only like a half an hour away. But Mel does confront Destiny about what she said about her mom, which I thought was out of pocket back when, Destiny had her store, Madani. She said, her mom was trying to give her, older women are always trying to give you advice. And I don't even think she was trying to be disrespectful, because she was right. Miss Vanessa said, you need to essentially straighten up and, treat your customers better, is what she was saying, if you want your business to be successful, which in my opinion is common sense. But she got mad, and Destiny's like, well, you need to worry about, pimping out your daughter. I'm thinking like, girl, what is that? What does that even mean? Where did you get that from? But in the grand scheme of things, Miss Van was right. Destiny's shop did close. She didn't even allegedly pay her workers. That's what her workers were alleging. And now Melody has a successful beauty brand online. Her e-commerce store on Shopify is doing very well. 7th Avenue Beauty. So Miss Van was right. But one thing that did bother me was Destiny, she asked repeatedly throughout the episode for Melody's forgiveness, and Mel was essentially like, no. Even when they got back to the house, and Destiny was like, I love you, and she was trying to be really contrite, and Mel's like, we'll talk. I feel like Melody is so over not just the people, in the Love and Marriage Huntsville cast, but she's over. I really feel like she should move. I remember her. I forget what episode it was. It was a while back, but she was getting her hair and makeup done, and she was crying and she was saying how much she hates, Huntsville. And I feel like part of her probably has grown past it, has evolved. She made, I mean, since she followed Stormi's footsteps, and not saying that she's essentially, well, I'll get to them talking about their brands in a minute and the millimeters. But, Stormi was successful in Canvas Beauty. She also was successful with 7th Avenue Beauty. Then after Stormi's $1 million TikTok Live, Melody is now started selling on TikTok Live. And listen, I'm not mad at it. I need to get my TikTok Live on as well, okay? Because that's where the money resides. But I feel like, one thing that she could possibly do if she is really sick of Huntsville is look at maybe purchasing a property in LA. That's something that Stormi and Courtney was talking about, just because they fly out there so much to the TikTok headquarters to do business out there. Maybe have like a second home or, like a summer home or something like that. Because, and that'll give her a break too, from Huntsville. And here's the thing too, I don't know how long this show is going to last, but I know she also, has kids and she's going through custody cases with Martell, but that was just something that I was thinking about that would give her a break from Love and Marriage Huntsville and the shenanigans. So Maurice sits down with his youngest, his junior, Maurice Jr., and they're talking about him going to college. It's his senior year in high school. And Maurice Jr., I don't like the nickname Monster, but Maurice Jr., he essentially is telling his dad that he's interested in a girl. And his dad is like, okay, but you need to not focus on going to college, specifically following a girl, which is true, right? You grow a lot from high school to college. But then Maurice is, going through, these exercise drills with him. And part of me is just like, I feel like so much of the things that he does, in my opinion, are just performative. And we've seen that throughout the seasons. I don't feel like the connection that I don't want to say that he has with his son, but I don't feel like he leads by example. I'll say that. Like he's somebody who tells, people what to do and not actually shows by modeling, by behavior. So that's just my opinion. Maurice is not one of my favorite people. Moving on. Lastly, the ladies are sitting down at dinner and they're talking about the millimeters. And, Nell Fletcher brought up the fact that she had an issue with the millimeters herself. And Mel's like, that's not true. She's trying to stick up for people. And listen, I don't agree with going to anybody's business. Stormi said, the whole thing with Miss Black Titanic, and they were in courts for that. Tisha chimed in. People were trying to get her restaurant Black, her cigar lounge Black shut down. Although we found out that was the church people, that wasn't the millimeters. But I would just say, as far as businesses, I wouldn't, in my personal opinion, attack anyone's business. That's someone's livelihood, and who has the time? But I feel like Melody should maybe say something. They brought up the fact that, Selena Gomez and, even Beyonce tells her Beehive to be nice. Nicki Minaj is the opposite of that. I feel like she encourages the Barbs to go ham on folks. But Melody could, make a statement. But Nell at the same time, she's like, well, you don't want to, take away from, you don't want to alienate people, mess up your money. So I guess that's two sides of the same coin. But you guys, anyway, that was the episode. I enjoyed it. I'm glad, like I said, the chance to see the ladies in a different environment in St. Thomas. It's gorgeous. I miss it. But you guys let me know your thoughts. Please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I will talk with you in the next one. Take care, Aces. Bye.